Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Marilyn Darling Show, and welcome to an episode of Calligraphy for Beginners. Now, when I was looking through this, I was looking through all of the books and papers that I've written on, and I tried to accumulate everything into a book so I could show it to you guys. And I'm going to be keeping my calligraphy lessons here from now on, so if you're not here for calligraphy, I totally understand. I will try and make sure that the name of the labels has the word calligraphy in it, so that way, if you're not into that, you can skip it. Or maybe you might learn something. You don't know. So, welcome in. How's everyone doing today? First thing, I want to go over the schedule of events. So, today is Wednesday. It's 2 p.m. and we are doing a calligraphy class. I was doing them on Twitch, but I decided to move them to YouTube so they would be here forever. Because Twitch doesn't keep my videos. And I don't know why. They want me to pay money, and I'm not paying money for that. Okay, so let's start off. Sunday will be a Zoom calligraphy class. If you are interested in learning face-to-face, so to speak, you can come and join the calligraphy class. It's totally free. All you have to do is go to Instagram. That's at Marilyn Darling on Instagram. And look for the calligraphy class post. And at 2 p.m. or 1:55-ish p.m., copy the link into a browser, and then you should be admitted into the class. Then Monday we have reviews, swatches, comparison cards. Tuesday we have paper review. Wednesday we have comparison day 1 and a calligraphy class. Thursday we have comparison day 2. Friday we have comparison day 3 and a currently inked tens. And then Saturday we have a comparison day 4, if there is 4, and a Bujo setup video. So we have a full-on week. Ready? And this is my book. And it's all handwritten. So the first thing that you need to know is you have to ask yourself a couple of questions. Why do I want to improve my handwriting ability? What is my goal? Where do I start? How long will it take to improve? Can I learn from this person? Will they teach me what I want to learn in a reasonable amount of time? How much does it cost? Pen, ink, paper, and when can we start? So let's answer the first question. What do you want to learn calligraphy? Well, as you can see, this is my probably worst cursive writing. But as you saw on the first page, when I slow down, I actually do the calligraphy. It looks nice. So, what is calligraphy? Calligraphy is the art of writing with beautiful letters. And if you can make your letters look beautiful, then you're writing calligraphy. There are 100, probably maybe 200 different types of calligraphy. Okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about most of them. Some of them I don't teach. And that's where we answer, can I learn from this person? I don't teach broad edge calligraphy because I'm not good at it. I don't teach Japanese, Chinese, Arabic, calligraphy because I'm not good. And so we teach the things that we know. And I think that that's important. Can you learn from this person? The best advice that I can give you is try to learn from everyone. Learn from the little girl who's excited about teaching you how to use cursive. Learn from the masters. And then find somewhere in between, someone in between those that you can vibe with, that you can actually get their attention from if you have a question. Sometimes these master calligraphers, they're busy. They don't have time. They're doing envelopes or whatever the case may be. So they might not always have the time to answer you. I am a little guy. I don't do the envelopes. I don't do the wedding things. If on the off chance that I do get invited to do like a wedding, it would be an in-person event, and maybe we can show you one of those, or like how to ask for one of those. Will they teach me? Will they teach me what I want to know, what I want to learn, in a reasonable amount of time? Calligraphy will not happen overnight. That is a fact. So, if you don't have the time right now, the best advice that I can give you is write it down on a sticky note. Write it down on a sticky note. Write it down on a sticky note and put it somewhere where you're going to see it. Not very often, but you're like, okay, I know you're there, just in case you want to learn. And then come back to it. Don't like just dismiss it because you think that it's not good. I mean, I've taught many people over the years. Back in 2002, when I was a fourth grade teacher, I taught cursive writing. Currently, my cursive writing is going way downhill. But we're not talking about how it goes downhill. We're just talking about moving forward. So try and come back to it. Put this somewhere where you're gonna see it. Not very often, but one day when you're able to, come back to it. And then, do the thing. And then share it with me. I would be ever so happy to know if you guys are practicing or what you guys are learning. If you're learning new techniques from other people, I'm very curious to know. Reasonable amount of time. So I learned calligraphy in about 4 months. It's not great, but it was a start. And the way that I learned calligraphy was by trial and error. I took a class. It was for brush pens. I didn't have a brush pen. I had a fountain pen, and I just did the strokes with the fountain pen, and then I learned about all of the different pens that you could use to do calligraphy with, and then the dip dips, and brush pen. Then I came back to brush pens, because I thought, you know what, now I have a couple of pennies to rub together. I'm going to buy some proper brush pens and learn that type of craft. So that's why I said, learn from everybody. Alright, how much does it cost? Normal calligraphers charge upwards of $150 to $1,000 for learning a craft. If they can get you into doors where you will be used as a calligrapher, go with them. I teach freelance calligraphy, basically. Freelance is pretty much any type of calligraphy that you find that's beautiful. And you can make many things with this thing. And there's just some examples to keep you motivated. So, I mean, You can do it. How much does it cost? I teach my calligraphy classes for free. They're on YouTube. One, because I'm not a master, and two, I don't know how to get people to actually want to pay for my services, and I don't feel that I should be paid for things if people aren't going to share their, you know, practice with me and things. Can't see how you're. If I can't see how you're improving, how do I know how I can help? When can we start? We can start next week. The art of calligraphy. What is calligraphy? Calligraphy is learning the art of beautiful letter writing. So we're gonna make it fun. I'm not a master. Keep learning, choose acceptance, and keep moving forward, and share your knowledge with your friends and family. So the best thing I can tell you is, buy some 3x5 cards, just random 3x5 cards, and write a little note on them and give them to friends and family. Make postcards, send them to your pen friends. If you're looking for pen friends, you can check Facebook. You can go to inkorimo.com, or is it .org, and search for names org. So you can go there and look for names and addresses and send them pen mail and practice your handwriting. So let's talk about some tools that you will need for this class, or that you might need for this class. So the first thing that you're going to need is you're going to need some paper. Let's go at the bottom. You're going to need some paper. I recommend CVS caliber filler paper. Comes in reams like this. They come in wide rule and college rule. I would get one of both. Comes out to like $10 for 2 reams of paper. Really good, high quality paper that you can see through just a little bit of ghosting. And there's no bleed through. So you can put just about anything on this paper and it's not going anywhere. You might want some ink to write with. I recommend Private Reserve Velvet Black. If you don't have a flexible fountain pen, I recommend the Noodler's Conrad with an upgraded Fountain Pen Revolution Ultra Flex Nib. Noodler's Conrad is like $27. The the Fountain Pen Revolution nib is about $18 with shipping, so it's like a $40 pen, but it's really nice. I like it. If you have lots and lots and lots of money, I have a Yovo 14 karat semi-flex extra fine grind from fpnibs.com. I recommend getting a dinky dip. Let's call it a dinky dip. It's for holding a couple little milliliters of ink. So you can dip if you're a dipper. Dinky dips come in many sizes. I also recommend getting an eyedropper. You're going to need some paper, and then you might need a clipboard. I recommend buying a clipboard, so that way you can put your guidelines. You're going to need guidelines. You can go to language.com/guide sheets. Look for 55-degree lines, and no baseline because we're already going to have baselines with the CVS caliber. We'll put the CVS caliber on top, and you should be able to just barely see the lines underneath, which is very helpful. These are called guidelines. Guidelines keep you on the right downstroke. What else are you going to need? You're going to need a pencil. We're going to start off with a pencil. And then we're going to move to a ballpoint. Then we're going to move to a marker. We're going to move to a marker. This is a Tombow Fudenosuke. Whatever you have. This is also a Palio Archman Olive. This is a Stabilo brush pen. We're going to maybe use jelly roll markers. Use whatever you have. Just start. You might need some Q-tips and some baby wipes or some rubbing alcohol. This is for cleaning of the hands and the nibs and stuff. So, just some things that you might want to pick up if you don't have them. This hobby can be very cheaply done or very expensively done. You could go to the 99-cent store or your dollar store and pick up a notepad and just start writing in it. You might need some post-it notes, a ruler of some sort, inky dip, clipboard, tracing paper. You could use tracing paper if you have tracing paper. You might need some toilet roll or some paper towel. I use toilet roll because it's cheaper. Wipes. Oh, you might need a jar of water. Give a little wee jar of water. OUI. The little glass jar. You could use a mug or a jar or a plastic Dixie cup. Whatever you have, you might need some water. You're going to need some water. You might want some tape, some washi tape. What do I call post-it notes? You might need a ruler and time, and you might need some time. So this isn't going to come fast. It may come fast to some of you, but you have to really put the practice in order to get it to look nice. This page is 4 years old now, so grain of salt. And your calligraphy will change over time, because you will find that one person will teach you one type of letter, and then you will watch another person and they will teach you the same letter in a different style, or a different hand, as they call it. And then learning the letters so that you, writing, do you know the letters without thinking about them? So when we're learning the different strokes of how to make the letters, we want to get to a point where we don't even have to look at the guide sheets anymore, or the practice papers anymore, and we're going to be able to name each of the parts of the letter and how to explain them to a friend if you would like to teach them how to learn calligraphy. It's very dry today. It's like 28. Are there alternate you would like to incorporate? So, if you have a certain letter that you want to have a certain look to it, and you want to incorporate that into your own lettering, by all means. Calligraphy is a flow, and if you're learning a new letter shape that goes better with your flow, I highly encourage you to use it. When you use them as a running hen, how do they feel? How do they connect? Have you worked out the optimal height for your writing? So we will do all of the connection strokes, and then once we have learned the different sizes that we can make calligraphy in, you can go back and you can make them bigger or you can make them smaller. And the smallest calligraphy I have seen yet is about as thick as a fingernail. So, not a fingernail. So, something to think about. Are you aiming for an everyday handwriting with a pointed, flexible metal nib? Are you aiming for more calligraphic hand? So when you're learning, we need to think about: do I want to make this for every day, or do I want to make this just for like specific things like writing making, selling envelopes, or making cards for people, or doing boards or menus. So each of these will take a different type of an instrument. When you look at your work, what do you see? Think about it. What do you want to improve on? Have you written out an alphabet of what you are currently, I'm going to say, working on? So, I don't know where the other end of that page went. Okay, so another thing that we're gonna learn flourishing. So flourishing is an extension of a letter. That's gonna take a little bit of practice. So the materials you're gonna need are paper, CVS, caliber filler paper is my favorite. You're gonna need a pencil, a colored pencil or graphite, clipboard. You're going to need some guide sheets from language.com. You're going to need a pen, rollerball, ballpoint, fountain pen, flexible fountain pen, medium, broad, mono, liner, fountain pen, pencil, something to write with. You can do this with charcoal even. So, ink, rollerball, fountain pen, ink. I prefer Private Reserve Black. It's a nice, matte, dry ink. It doesn't smudge too much. Might need some absorbent paper like toilet roll. If you're hemorrhaging money, you might want to invest in a Waterman 12. They are some of the best flexible nibs out there. Very expensive though. Colored pencil, tape. Bring yourself, bring your friends. Okay, now we can get into learning about the things. So, terms that we're going to need to know are: what is an X height? So when I look This is a wide-ruled notebook paper, and the X height is half of the full majuscule stroke. So if I were to look at the capital A is a majuscule, and that is up to the second ascender, and the X height would be half of that. So that would be the X height. Okay? Then we have to look at the slant. The slant is the angle of which you are writing. If you are writing a certain type of person's writing, some people write more upright. And some people write more slanted. So it just really depends on the person that you're teaching to write. We are going to work at a 55-degree angle. So there's our 55. Here is our 55-degree slant. You can find those on language.com. I want to call it watch. Language.com. And once you print out some of those guidelines, you will notice that there's, when you have the lines on the bottom and the lines on the top, and then the lines going this way, you will find that there is each section of this grid will turn into parallelograms. From here down over the top, turn into parallelograms. Okay? And sometimes we'll be working through in one parallelogram, and sometimes we will be working across multiple parallelograms. Alright, so one of the first strokes that we learn is the upstroke. So the upstroke, tilt my page. Oops, sorry. So first thing that you're going to do is you're going to place your body in front of the table. Place your body in front of the table so that way you're not being impeded in any way, and your feet are going to be placed on the floor, just holding one up and one kind of tucked underneath you. Okay? So you're going to place your body about about an wrist width between you and the table, so that way you're not hitting the table. And then you're going to place your arms on the table and bend them up, and make sure that your elbows are not going to smack the table. Okay? You don't lean, and you don't want to do one of these things where you're resting your whole weight on one arm. So don't do that. Try to sit in an upward style and just be comfortable. Don't slouch though. Don't slouch. Don't leaning so far back that you almost fall out of the chair. So then we're going to place our, if you're a left-handed writer, you should be able to write just as the paper is directly outward from your mid-torso. Okay, you should be able to. The idea is to bring the easiest, uh, the easiest way to bring from the top of the letter to the baseline by using this motion toward your shoulder. So if this is your slant angle, then this is the you should need to tilt your page so that this is the 55-degree angle on your page. Okay? Because the worst thing is cranking your hand or your whole arm just to get that stroke to come down like this. You don't want to do that. You want it to be nice and comfortable. This should be a nice, easy thing. Okay? Now that we have the positioning of the sitting down, let's take a look at some what are called the basic strokes. So the first thing that we need to know is where all of the definitions of all of the lines. So each one of these is a baseline. Okay? Which means that on the second level, this baseline, and if we were to write this is our baseline, then that makes this our second ascender. Okay? So each one of these is a baseline. But when we write, I try to skip a space so that way I'm not interfering with the descendings or ascendings of the letters. So then we have the space in between here this is our baseline. Line in the middle is the X height. X height. Okay. Let's drop 2 down, mark off an X height. When I say drop 2 down, that's 1, 2. And mark off your X height. That's what I want you to do. Now the reason that we move down, so if I say drop 2 down, that's 1, 2. So if I say drop 3 down, 1, 2, 3 down, mark off an X height. So let's drop 3 down, mark off an X height. So for the purposes of this lesson, I'm going to double my X height. So that way, instead of this being a full letter, I want this to be a full letter. So I'm going to make my X height double the bigness. So that means that this is the X height. This is the first ascender. And this is the second ascender. So, and this is our baseline. Then the point between the baseline and the X height is the quarter height. This will play a very important role later on. So we have our baseline, first quarter, X height, first ascender, second ascender. And then if we go in the opposite direction, we go underneath the baseline, we have the first descender, and the second descender. Okie dokie. Now that I think that I have all of those out of the way, I think we can begin. So we have baseline for X height, first ascender, base height, quarter, X height, first ascender, second ascender. First descender, second descender. Okie dokie. So now we can start. So the first stroke that we learn is called the upstroke. The upstroke looks like this. Now we're going inside of this here parallelogram. And we're going from this corner to this corner with a slight sag toward this corner. Okay? So we're going to skip one parallelogram and do it again. Skip one parallelogram and do it again. Skip one parallelogram, do it again. And then after a while, you will soon get used to doing this stroke. And you want to go nice and slowly and try not to go directly up like this or over like this. Those a no, and that's a no. So you can put a little X on the ones that you shouldn't be doing. So you want to make sure it's nice and slow, nice and even curvature from the baseline to the X height. Alright, let's drop 3 down 1, 2, 3, and mark off an X height. So, quarter, or half the X height, that'd be 0.25, X height, 1, 2. See how this works? Alright, the next one is the downstroke. The downstroke starts at the X height and comes in a straight line down to the baseline. You're going to follow the X height lines as you draw them. Go nice and slowly. I'm going to skip one line and then I'm going to go to another one. Skip one line. And you're putting just the tiniest bit of pressure. When we go up, we go light. So we can barely see it, just barely dragging our pencil. And then when we come down, we push down into the page with our pencil, making a hard downstroke. Okay? next one is we're going to drop 2 down, 1, 2, drop 3 down, mark off an X-height. We're going to do the overturn. So the overturn starts on the baseline, comes up to the X-height, curves around, and then comes right back down to the baseline. Looks like that. So you start on the base, go up, curve around, come right back down. And you want to make sure that you stay within that parallelogram. And then skip 2 parallelogram, 1, 2, and then start again. Nice and slow. Now this one we have to remember that when we go up, we go light, and when we come down, we push pressure. So we're going to go up really light so we can barely even see it, curve around, and then put a little bit of pressure. So one side should look very light, and the other side should look very dark. And we're going to practice that all the way across, skipping. You don't want to do like an uppy down like this. You don't want a pokey thing. And you don't want it to go too short. So always go all the way up to the X height when you do these. Okay? Next, let's drop 3 down, mark off an X height. The next one that we're going to learn is called the underturn. So the underturn is exactly the opposite of the overturn. The overturn, the underturn is we start at the X height, we go down to the baseline, and then curve right back up and go back up to the X height. So, skip 2, down hard, up light. Skip 2, down hard, up light. Down hard, up light. Down hard, up light. Down hard, up light. Okay? That is the underturn. Alright, the next one, let's drop 3 down, mark off an X height. The next one is called the compound curve. And the compound curve starts at the baseline, comes up, over, around, a little bit of pressure, hits the baseline, curves right back up. So we're going to go up light, hard down just a little, and then back up light. This is called the compound curve. Make sure you don't go over halfway across the page, because then we're going to do the reverse compound curve. This will take some practice getting used to. It doesn't really take a whole lot of pressure. You gotta gradually put the pressure and then take it off. Gradually put the pressure and take it off. Alright, now we're going to do the reverse compound curve. And the reverse compound curve, instead of starting at the baseline, we start at the X height. Start off X height, and we go down hard, up light, and down hard. Down hard, up light, down hard. Down hard, up light, down hard. This is really good practice for if you have Noodler's Conrad with a flexible nib, and it should give you some really good practice. Down hard, down hard. Alright, let's drop 3 down and mark off an X height, and you can practice that many, many, many times. The next one is the oval. So the oval is, we're going to start with our parallelogram, and then we're going to mark the points in between the parallelograms, because we're not actually hitting any of the points in the parallelogram. We're making the oval. The oval starts on the right-hand side of the oval, comes up over, curves down, and then curves back under and back up. So, I'm going to come up, curve in just like we did an overturn, and then right there we're going to stop, we're going to curve in, and we're going to make it like an underturn. So, we're making the oval. And we're only going to go about halfway with that one too. So, start on the right side, up, down, back up. So, same rules apply. When you go up, you go light, and when you go down, you press. So we're going to start up light, little press in the middle, and then back up light. Up light, little press in the middle, back up light. Up, down, up, down. And you want to try to keep that pressure just right in the middle, even if it's a very small pressure. Okay? The next one that we're going to learn is the reverse oval. Reverse oval is the opposite way, opposite direction. In the oval, we go counterclockwise, and in the reverse oval, we go clockwise. Don't ask me why. That's just how it is. So we're going to start on the left-hand side of the oval, in the middle of the quarter height, and we're going to go up to X height, real light, press to go down, and then up light. So the shade should be on the opposite side of the oval this time. We're going to go nice and slow. You don't want to make it too thin. The oval is supposed to be double the height of its width. Otherwise, it would be a circle or an ellipse. Alright, let's drop 3 down, mark off next height. The next one that we're going to learn is the ascending stem loop. So here's our baseline, X height, first ascender, second ascender. We're going to go from the X height, make a loop up around inside that parallelogram, and then down all the way to the baseline. So, up, around, and then hard down. Remember, when we go up, we go light. So, light up, and then hard down. And you don't want to start putting pressure until right about that first ascender. So, around, and down like that. Okay? This will take a lot of practice. You're not going to get it right away. I didn't get it right away because I was impatient. So, you're not going to be patient either. But I tell you what, Sarah from Insights told me, you are where you need to be right now. And that's okay. Don't rush this. It's supposed to be beautiful. It's supposed to take time. If you don't have time right now, come back to it later. It'll be here. Okay? Alright, and we're done with that page. If you have more than this on your page, you're not listening to instructions. So, choose acceptance, listen to instructions, and you'll get along just fine. Okay, let's move on to another page. Set your guidelines. If you're using a different book or something, move your guidelines to a new page. 5 more minutes. Alright, let's drop 2 down, 1, 2, mark off an X height. And then let's drop 1 down and then mark off the second descender. Okay? So the next stroke that we're going to learn is the descending stem loop. Oops, I didn't write that down. Ascending stem loop. Alright, the next one that we're going to learn is a descending stem loop. So we're going to start at the X height, and we're going to go down hard, past the baseline, almost to the second descender. We're going to curve around and come right back up inside of that parallelogram. Only we're going to come down, we're going to start at the X height, come down, and then right at the first ascender, we're going to start lighting up on our pen, curving around, and just dragging the pencil in the upward direction. Just barely putting any pressure. So remember, down hard, up soft. Down hard, up soft. Down hard, soft. Down hard, soft. Once you figure that out, you'll be like, okay, well, this one's too thick. This one's maybe too thin. So you want to find a nice medium inside of that parallelogram. Not going quite all the way to the parallelogram, but just on the inside of it. Okay? That's descending stem loop. Now let's drop 1, 2, 4 down, mark off next height. The next one is the reverse descending stem loop. So we're going to start at the X height, and we're going to go. This one is the opposite direction of the descending stem loop. So we're going to start at the baseline, we're going to come down to the second descender and curve the opposite way and go almost straight up into the X height, into the baseline. So start at X height, hard down, lighting up, and then light up. Hard down, light up. Try not to go too fast. The lighter you can see this upstroke, the better. Same thing goes with these. If you're snapping leads, you're pushing down too hard. It doesn't have to be super hard, just darker than the upstroke. This will take a little bit of practice. Picking up your pen and drawing is way harder than putting it down. Okay. Where are we? 4 minutes. Alright, the next, let's drop 4 down, mark off an X height. 3, 1, 2, drop 4 down, mark off an X height. The next one is the C stroke. Alexa, stop. C stroke starts in the middle of at the quarter height, and we're going to make an oval. Only when we get to the bottom, we're going to spiral out and go right back up to the X height. Okay, so oval, spiral out, oval, spiral out, oval, spiral out. And then you'll make a couple of those on white rust. Drop 3 down, mark off the X height. Next one that we're going to do is the E stroke. E stroke starts at the quarter height. Mark off the quarter height all the way across. Just a light line, it doesn't have to be perfect. So we're going to start in the middle of the X height on the left side, and we're going to come up to about this corner. So we're going to hit these coordinates. So we're going to go up like we're making a C. Start out with this dash, and then up to the X height, down to the baseline, and then spiral out like we did with the C. So, should look like this. Okie dokie. Okay, so let's drop 3 down, mark off an X height. The next one is the K stroke. The K stroke, let's mark off the middle. Crap. The middle. Just kidding. 3/4 of an inch. That's not it either. So maybe don't use a ruler. Like, seems to be a waste of time. That's pretty good. That's good enough. Alright, so we're going to mark off the quarter height. And this one, we're going to go in the opposite direction of the E. So we're going to start at the baseline, and we're going to come up to X height. We're going to curve around and make a reverse the loop. And then we're going to come out to that parallelogram and go down to the X height, curve around, and come right back up to the top of the X height. So baseline, X height, quarter, baseline, X height. Okay, that's the R stroke. Sorry, that's the K stroke. R stroke. Alright. That's K stroke. Okay? After you practice that for a while, you'll get the hang of it. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Had to deal with pills. Okay. The next stroke that we're going to learn is the R stroke. Let's drop 2 down, mark off an excite. We're gonna, sorry, let's drop 3 down, mark off an excite. Okay, so we have the excite, the first ascender, and the second ascender. So we're gonna come up between the excite and the first ascender. And we're gonna make a dash crossing the 55-degree line from one side of the parallelogram to the other side of the parallelogram in a downward swooping mark. Might not seem like a lot, but then after that, we can put this into an underturn. So, we can swoop in just underneath that excite. Okay? Let's drop 2 down, mark off an excite. The next one is the S stroke. So again, we're going to start at just a little bit above the excite. We're going to go from the right side of the parallelogram, swoop into the excite, curve around, down, and then up. So you should make an S shape. And that is the S shape. Followed by, oh dear, I will be right back. I will be right back. I'm back. Sorry about that. Nature calls. Sometimes if you don't answer the call, you get the rat in the pants. So, life. All right. Back to it. So we were doing the S. The S starts just above the X height, swoops in, touches the top of that, upstroke, turns around to the other parallel, and up again. Just a little bit though. You can go behind it and make a little droplet, or you can go in front of it and make a little droplet. It doesn't matter. Some people will tell you to do it one way, some people will tell you to do it that way. I don't even make a droplet. I just go like that, and then into whatever letter I'm going into. So, choose acceptance, keep moving forward. Alright, let's drop B down, mark off X height. Actually, you know what, yeah, that'll be fine. So, here we have our baseline. We're gonna make the X stroke. So the X stroke starts at the baseline, comes up to the X height, curves around, and a teardrop shape and goes right back to where you started. So, go up, around, down, in. Remember when we're using the up light, so go up light, down hard, and this is the X stroke. And this is just half of the X stroke. The other half of the X stroke is a C stroke. Okay? Now you can do an X stroke like this, like crossing in the middle. However, I think it looks like a naughty symbol that we're not going to talk about. So, no. When we're doing the S stroke, we're going to start at the baseline, around, curve in, a little bit of pressure, up light, a little bit of pressure. Okay? And then the last stroke is the Z stroke. The Z stroke starts at, here is our parallelogram beneath the X height. And we're going to start in the middle of that parallelogram. And like we did with the reverse descending, only this, any of the descending stem, only this time we're going to start in the middle. And we're going to hit each of those points, making a teardrop in the downward section shape. So when we do a Z, up over, we do an X stroke, and then we connect it to a Z stroke into an upturn. Pretty cool, huh? And there we have it. We've learned all of the basic strokes to make all of the smaller case minuscule letters. So when we do this in practice, We do an upstroke. Always start with an upstroke, unless it's connected to an oval. Because otherwise, when we do an oval, next to that, there's this bit right here sticking out. You don't want that bit sticking out. Into an underturn. And how far that you make this underturn will depend on what the next letter is. If you're going into an oval, you make a half of an underturn. So a half of an upstroke. So half of an upstroke, oval, and then if we're going into another oval, stop at the quarter height. Mark out the right side. Okay, and you want to blend the letter into your points. So making it look like they weren't even there to begin with. Okay, then we have a B. So a B is an upstroke, ascending stem loop, and then into an underturn. Then we have another underturn, or what I like to call the connection stroke. Okay, then we have the C stroke. So we have an upstroke halfway, because it's an ovular letter, and our C stroke. Then we have our D, which is going into an oval letter, so we go quarter upstroke, oval, and then we do an ascending stem loop into an underturn. Okay, on the E, we start with an upstroke, and then we go into an E stroke, hiding that connection, just like that. Alright, let's drop 2 down. Let's drop 3 down. Mark on the next height. Just wanted to say 2. Alright, the F is an upstroke, an ascending stem loop, into a reverse descending stem loop, into an upstroke. G will be an upstroke, quarter upstroke, oval, descending stem loop, into an upstroke. Always lift your writing device every stroke. Okay, H is an upstroke, ascending stem loop, a hard downstroke, into a compound curve. Now remember, when we're doing the compound curve, that inside of our parallelogram, we're going to come away from that parallelogram and then come down on the 55, then back up. Because if we were to make our H with a normal sized compound curve, it would look weird. It would look like this. We don't want it to look like that. We want it to look like this. A little tiny triangle just in here. An I is pretty easy. It's an upstroke and an underturn. And then a tittle. tittle or tittle? Tittle. That's what I thought. Now, then we have the J, which is also has a tittle in it. We have an upstroke, descending stem loop, an upstroke with a tittle. And a tittle is a circle, miniature-sized circle. You could make a dot, but it may be you just don't want to make it a dash or a tick. That might mean it's in a different language. Circle is usually fairly prominent when you look at very old typewriters. They have a very definite circle for a tittle. K, we have an upstroke, ascending stem loop, hard downstroke, and then we go into the K stroke. And you saw, again, I came away from that stem, so that way there'd be a little tiny triangle in there. The L is kind of like K, upstroke, ascending stem loop, into an underturn. Okay? The M is an overturn, and a compound curve. And you want to make sure that each of these spaces in here are the same. The other way that you can make an M is you can do an upstroke, a hard downstroke, overturn, and a compound curve. Okay? Top three down, mark off the next side. Same thing with N. So N, you can do an overturn, compound curve, or you can do an upstroke, a hard downstroke, and a compound. Okie dokie. And the element O is a quarter upstroke, an oval, and a connection stroke. Or an eyelash, some people like to call it. Depending on how far you make this eyelash will depend on whatever the next letter is. P, we have an upstroke, a descending stem loop, and a reverse oval, and an upstroke. You can also do an upstroke, full hard downstroke, compound curve. Looks like an N with a runny nose. Anyway, then we have the Q, which is upstroke, oval, and a reverse descending stem loop like we did with the F. Then an upstroke. The R is an upstroke, the R stroke, and then underturn. The S is an upstroke, the S stroke, and then upstroke. T is an upstroke, Now, just underneath the between the 1st December and the 2nd December, we're going to go just under there, and we're going to make a giant under. And then we're going to cross more closer to the X height, about 2 spaces across. Because the tittle goes above the T, the cross. Okay? U would be upstroke, underturn, and an underturn. Drop 3 down, mark off X height. V would be a compound curve and a connection stroke. You should always come down to about the quarter height when you're making a connection stroke. Unless you're going into another ovular letter. The W, so W is just like a U, upstroke, underturn, underturn, and we're going to do a connection stroke. X is an X stroke and a C stroke. Y is a compound curve, descending stem loop, and an upstroke. And then Z is an X stroke and a Z stroke. And then an upstroke. And there, we've done all of the letters of the alphabet. What do y'all think about that? Now that we've learned it on pencil, next week we will learn it with another device. So, let's see. Basic strokes, upstroke, downstroke, overturn, underturn, curve, reverse, stem loops, oval, reverse oval, C, E, K, connection stroke, R, S, X. Descending stem loops. Oh. Okay, next week we will talk about the difficult strokes. So, next week we will talk about the more difficult strokes to make and how to make them. So, look forward to that soon. That's all I got for today. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I hope that you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media. Like the video. Make a nice comment. Share it with your friends. Tell them where you found it. And I will be back very soon with another video. Please don't forget to check out my website, join our calligraphy class, check out the paper reviews page, join the Discord, check out Pen Boutique or Atlas Stationers if you're in the market to buy stationery. By using my link, I get a little commission, you get a discount, so that I can make better content for all of you. And I will be back very soon with another video. So take care until then. Okay, love you, bye. Have a great day.